Sign something, I don't know.
All right, we're going to call to order the City Brainerd Safety and Public Works Committee meeting tonight, July 5th, 2022 at 7 p.m. in council chambers. 6 items on the agenda tonight, first of which is the updated City of Brainerd Emergency Operations Plan, and this is an item for Chief Tim Holmes. Fire Chief, if you want to fill us in and read the whole thing out loud, or
Yeah, it's only 74 pages, so you got
should
time?
be able to get through that in a
It's
couple
the one
minutes.
that's stuck in there.
Just
Great.
fill us in on the high points, what's changed.
Yeah, absolutely. So over the last few months, we've been working on this, and it's just more or less to update to the current standards and how the city is actually operating. So we're making it just more relevant to our normal operations. The emergency operation plan is just a guideline for our efficiency when it comes to, you know, a natural disaster or a major event in town where we just need some guidelines as to what are the roles and responsibilities of not only public safety, but, you know, public works, the council, et cetera. So this plan hasn't been updated since '08, so it's just a good time to get it updated. The highlights are more or less that it really coincides with Crow Wing County's plan, so they work in conjunction. And like I said, it's just really to offer us guidance and roles and responsibilities for a major incident.
Okay. As I understand, all the department heads have had a chance to go through it.
Correct. All the departments had a chance to go through both the emergency operation plan and the support functions. We have a scheduled tabletop exercise on the 27th to exercise the plan and then just work through an incident with BPU and the city.
As far as our power outages or issues with water, things like that.
Yeah, I think what the training will be a tornado or some type of disaster comes through town, and that way we can incorporate pretty much everyone as far as public works and parks and public safety and BPU and everybody into the training.
All right, interesting. You guys have any questions? Got a motion?
I move to adopt the updated emergency operation plan and emergency support functions and to authorize the appropriate signatures.
Second.
Motion and second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, go to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Second item tonight is a event parking lot closure application for is it the Dangy or Dangy?
Dangy. I think.
Dangy 5K. Mr. Sandy, interim city engineer,
All right.
/ public works director. You want to go ahead and tell us about that?
Yes, I can certainly do that. So attached to your packet here is an event application for the Dangy 5K. This is an event that's been going on for a couple of years now. They run through Kiwanis and a portion of Rotary Park. So really there's no street closures or anything involved with this event, but they've always submitted the application just because it's a little more than what we would anticipate for an event like this in the parks. So really, they run on the trail. There's banners on the event. There's a blow-up arch at the beginning. There's flags to mark the trail. They have some tables with food and water. And really, they have just a small power need there at the pavilion area for a small TV that shows the race time. And the applicant has already reserved the pavilion through the Parks Department. So really, the only thing in front of the committee here tonight is to approve the application. Just under the condition that the applicant removes any signs or banners after the event conclusion.
Okay. So this one has no street closures. Everything is actually in the parks, correct?
Yeah, so I mean, the reason we have them submit this is because East River Road is still technically a public street, even though it's a shared use path / road. And so it's always been a little bit gray on, you know, does the park board have jurisdiction over it? So we've always just brought it forward to the city council just to make sure you guys are aware of it, given that road through there.
I guess it's not a big deal. Either way, I think it's always gonna go forward. It's not a really large event, but I think if it's not including street closures, do we just send it to the park board? We give our approval and just send it to the park board from now on, going forward?
Yeah, I mean, and that's just an administrative approval generally, so there's not really any formal park board action that usually takes place on those types of events, and so A lot of times, this is an opportunity for the applicant to actually promote their event too, getting it out in the public at a city council meeting. So,
Okay.
in a way, you could just throw it but then it wouldn't get the publicity. I think maybe not the amount of attendance.
Wouldn't be live.
Wouldn't be on
Wouldn't be
live
live
cable
television.
on the PEG channel. That's true. This is big time stuff. There's a lot of people watching today. First PEG channel live streamed meeting. So hope everybody's loving it.
Mr. Chair, I would move to approve the application with the one condition mentioned.
Okay.
Second.
All right. Motion and a second. The one condition that the applicant
Pick up.
remove any banners, signs, etc. was the additional condition mentioned. Motion and a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, go to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. And item number 3 is event alley closure for the Crossing Arts Alliance Appreciation Picnic. And I believe this is another one for Mr. Sandy. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I think this is the second annual or the second time they've done this event. They close off the alley between Knotty Pine Bakery and Crossing Arts Alliance. It's just a small appreciation picnic, and they just asked to close down the alley, so we'll typically provide traffic control for them. In the event app, you can kind of see what they're planning on. Crossing Art board members would like to grill for Crossing Art staff, volunteers, community supporters from 2 to 5 p.m. on July 21st. They bring a grill and tables and clean up by 5 p.m. The alley's back opened up to people. So really a pretty simple event. We just asked that they just let us know a week beforehand what they need for traffic control and where they'd like it dropped off.
Perfect. I not only support the closure of this small section of alleyway, I encourage it. I think that if we had more events going north-south through those alleyways, we could close them permanently and put seating in there and make them look better. If you have an east-west route through an alleyway in a block in our downtown, they're not big enough to support east-west and north-south. So that being said, I do support this one. Any other comments, questions?
Just a motion.
Okay, go ahead.
I move to approve the application.
Second.
Motion and second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, go to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Number 4. This is a testing services contract with ITT for improvement 19-02 CLT West segment. Again, Mr. Sandy, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I know these kind of seem like there's a lot of improvement projects for 1902, but as we've said in the past, this project is broken up into 3 separate sections. So the section we're talking about now is everything west of the MP Center property. This was the contract we awarded a few meetings ago to DeChantel Excavating. We have a consultant engineer, SEH, on board doing the engineering and construction observation for that project. What's in front of you guys tonight is a materials testing contract for all the materials that get put into the project such as this. So it's testing asphalt, it's testing compaction of the subgrade, concrete testing for like curb and gutter or sidewalk, pedestrian ramps. And so we solicited quotes from 2 firms, as we typically do, the 2 that provide testing services in this area. We got both quotes back, ITT being the lower of the 2 quotes at $7,770. SEH went through both quotes looking for any type of differences between the 2, and they found that they're basically proposing substantially the same work and testing frequency. So what we're recommending tonight is that the committee approve the quote for materials testing from ITT in the total amount of $7,770 for that kind of like State Trail West segment.
Fantastic.
I got one question for Paul. So this project is reimbursable through the DNR. As such, I assume this testing of the material would be required regardless. Not that we wouldn't want to do it on our own, but would that be?
Yeah, so we would do this regardless of the funding type, but this is a service that is reimbursable. There's some funds, for example, federal funds through like transportation alternatives that have funded trail projects and sidewalk projects for us in the past, where engineering services are not reimbursable. This is a state-funded DNR grant. It's not a federal dollar. So yes, these funds are reimbursable through the money we have through the DNR.
Okay.
Great.
My only question, I'd be ready with a motion then. I would recommend approval of the quote for materials testing services with ITT in the total amount of $7,770 for improvement 19-02 Cayuna Lake State Trail West segment.
And I second that.
Motion and a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, go to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item number 5 is to approve quotes for improvement 22-04 2022 large patch project. Again, Mr. Sandy, take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So in front of you is our quotes for our improvement 22-04, which is our large patch project. A little history about this improvement. We've taken a conceded effort in looking for areas where we have a high use of pothole patching, streets that have fallen into disrepair, that aren't necessarily in our 5-year plan, and we want to try to hold them together for a longer period of time while those roads get included into our 5-year capital improvement plan. So that's what this project is mainly used for. It's taking out large areas of pavement and taking them down to the gravel surface and patching them back in with new bituminous to get rid of those potholes. We've seen a lot of value in this project just from the fact that we have a lot better public perception on how our streets are taken care of when we get rid of large areas of potholes. A couple years ago, we did increase this amount from $10,000 to $50,000, and we've seen a very big benefit in that. And so with that, we solicited 2 quotes. We got 2 back, one from Anderson Brothers, one from Knife River. The first quotes that came back, Anderson Brothers, was significantly less than Knife River. I think it was in the tune of $33,000. So we have a budget of $50,000. So we actually went back to Anderson Brothers and said, how much more work can you do for us for that budgeted amount of $50,000? So they actually increased the amount of patching we did. So Knife River's quote is the original one we received from them. We actually went back to Anderson Brothers and added more patching on to get up to that budget number, so we can get more patching done this year. So what you see, Anderson Brothers is a second quote that we got from them, which has more patching included. And so Anderson Brothers is proposing to patch 1,808 square yards, and I think Knife River has 1,307 on their quote. So we're getting about 500 more yards of patching than Anderson Brothers for the same amount of money. So we're recommending that we approve that quote from Anderson Brothers in that total budgeted amount of $50,000, and that comes out of our construction fund 401.
Great. You pretty much answered every question I had.
Yeah, my question was just gonna be math, because one of them was in square yards and the other square feet. I thought we were getting more than, we're getting about 5,000 square feet more, aren't we?
It would be 500, 500 times 9, so
Okay.
4,500.
Yeah, so roughly, okay.
Yep, square feet more.
Great.
Being a liberal arts major, I just kind of check.
All right.
Well, I would make a motion if we don't have any questions.
Go ahead.
I may move to approve the quote from Anderson Brothers Construction Brainerd LLC in a total of $50,000 for 1,808 square yards.
And second.
Motion and a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, go to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. On to our final item, number 6, and this is direction on open code enforcement cases. Community Development Director, James Kramvik, go ahead and fill us in on these 2 properties that we're focusing on today.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. So the first property is 1005 3rd Avenue Northeast. So this property has received a notice of violation for junk and debris, as well as 3 citations. Pictures are attached to it. They've gone through the process per section 320. So at this point, staff is recommending a 10-day order to correct letter stating that we will be abating the property if not corrected. And then at that point, working with the city attorney to abate the property.
My only question, I don't remember, I know we talked about this at our meeting last week, but is this in 10 days, when they receive, or when the letter's sent out, in 10 days it will be abated?
Nope, so it would have to go through a warrant process first. Okay. So that is a little bit of a lengthy process to that, so it wouldn't be abated immediately. But we would go through that warrant process.
And we would be starting the warrant process with this motion, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so it wouldn't be done in 10 days if they don't remove it, but at least the process is
Yep.
done. Do we know about how long? Because we're getting questions now, I don't know if you guys have, but I have, about other properties in town and how long things take in general once it gets to,
Yep, so our warrant process is taken about 2 weeks. You know, and then we also have to contract with our services to get it cleaned up, so depending on their schedule for that part of it. And that's really for junk and debris when it's actually items. When it's grass, that could be abated immediately upon the request of the committee
okay,
and city council. So grass, we do have a number of those in the works right now. They're getting close to their 3 citations.
and the 3 citations is about 30 days.
Yep.
On the 31st day, technically, we could go in and.
Yep, upon direction of council.
Okay, okay. You guys have any questions about that one?
No, this one's pretty simple to me.
Okay, and I think we'll do what we usually do with just a single motion, or do you want to do two
Yep, and-
separate motions? They are different, they're different, and it's only 2, so I'm fine with the
Yeah,
motion.
I'll go ahead and make a single motion for each of them then.
Okay.
So, motion to recommend a 10-day order to correct letter and work with the city attorney to abate the property if the property owner fails to comply.
I'll second that.
Motion is second, any more discussion?
With that, I'll throw in the address here, 1005 3rd Avenue Northeast, so we're specific on that.
Perfect. Motion amended. Accepted.
Yep, amendment, yep.
All right, any more discussion? Hearing none, go to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. And then the last property, go ahead, Mr. Kramvik.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. So this property is fairly unique, and we're certainly looking for direction from the committee here. So 1106 13th Avenue Northeast, we did send a letter for a tree branch that was fallen as well as long grass. Pictures were attached to it. We did learn from BPU that the property owner had passed away in 2021. So we are looking for direction on this one. We certainly could start the citation process as per section 320. You know, we did have discussions on this. Staff is recommending abatement of the grass and the falling tree branch, just because the citation process really isn't going to get us a resolve to the situation.
Okay. So, we did talk quite a bit about this one, and I'm still thinking about it because I think, I'd love to ask our attorney what other cities have done. This has to have happened before, where somebody just doesn't have family to pass their home to, there's no will. We don't know if there's even a mortgage still on it, if it's falling behind. If the property is falling apart, it doesn't help the bank. If the bank isn't involved, then does it go to the city? Does it go to the county? I don't know if we have those answers right now. But I think what we had talked about in the meeting is the way that this property looks right now, and if you look at the pictures, there's trees that have fallen in the storms, have long grass. There's nobody there to pick it up. Do we just step in as a city and just clean it up for the neighbors' sake? That's kind of what we came up with as an answer for now, without really sending any charges their way or anything. There's nobody there to pay it that we know of. So, if you guys agree, we can move forward with that and just ask our attorney to look into what we do next. I think.
Yeah.
Maybe we add that.
Yeah, I think you have to do something. You can't just let it, maybe you can put it as like something like a lien on the house or something if it really came to that, but.
Correct. Go ahead.
And we could still abate the property to put that on assessment charges, but, not cite it, just because citations aren't going to go anywhere, but it's up to you. We could certainly still put the abatement charges onto the property.
Maybe put the abatement charges on the property, and if something happens with it, without citing it, if something happens with it, that's something we can look at waiving if somebody wants to come in, fix it up. Obviously, that's what we want anyway, so.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, so then I'll make the motion for 1106 13th Avenue Northeast to recommend abatement of the grass and the fallen tree branch and debris.
And with it assessed on the property or?
Yeah, so,
Without citation.
yeah, without citation and assessed on the property.
A second.
Okay. Only question, do we want to direct our lawyer, Or is that just something that you can do, James, without motion? Just
Add after legal review,
after legal review. Perfect.
amend it.
Second that.
All right. Amended and seconded. Any more discussion? Hearing none, go to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. And we can adjourn to the council meeting in 9 minutes.
Good.